What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony, Michelle, and Mike, and we are discussing Agatha All Along episodes 8 and 9. And I'm going to start this off by saying I finally did go back and at least rewatch the first. I think I got through the first 4.5 episodes. And I've changed my opinion just a little bit, but it's because I realized what was bothering me more than anything. And it wasn't really the story, because I realized I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been, because there were some clues that were right there in my face that went completely over my head. But I figured it out. It's Catherine Hahn's acting. It's like certain things that she does, and I think we touched upon this in the last episode, but also certain facial expressions she's making. And also it feels like, I think I had this conversation with Anthony, it almost feels like she's breaking the fourth wall without breaking the fourth wall. Like every time she does something or says something that's not completely whatever, it's almost like she's supposed to turn to the TV and go, so that we know what she's, what she's intimating. And I don't know, something about it took me out of the show. It took me out of her being this character to her being this actress playing this character. And I just couldn't get over it. And it really, I have a whole page of notes from just the first few episodes where I was like, how did I miss all of this? I didn't pay attention to none of it. And it was because I was so irritated. And I was just like, okay, so I guess she's just going to have to be in one of those categories of actresses or actors that I just really don't care for the way that she brings her characters to screen. And now that have that in my mind, I'm like, okay, I can enjoy the show a little bit more. So I do enjoy it a little bit more on the second go around. There's still some problems that I have with it, but overall, I don't dislike it as much as I did when we discussed the first 5 episodes. So
cool. Glad to hear it. Thank you. Come on over to the train.
I'm not coming over to the train.
I don't want you over to the train, you grump, you grouch. Anthony,
was,
you're
I
a
was,
grouch.
I was going to say maybe I was a little harsh. Nah, I don't think I was a little harsh. My opinion still stands about those first 4 episodes.
okay.
Yeah, I will give them credit. The last part, the last half to third of the show was really good.
Yeah.
Those last few episodes were really good. I still think those first 4 episodes could have been better than what they were. This
Yeah.
is my opinion.
Yeah. And I'm really impressed, because when we discussed the last 2 episodes, Anthony actually had a theory, and I don't think he posited it as a theory, but it was just something that he was talking about the show and how the show was being viewed. And he was like, I think this could be something that's a part of teens, something that he's done just like Wanda did, where he created the role, where, what Agatha was saying earlier on, that the role didn't exist. It really didn't exist, and that kind of influenced the way that she was acting, because she was trying to figure things out on the fly. And Anthony and I had not seen that last episode before them. Mike had. But Anthony, I'm gonna tell you, I'm so impressed, because once it all started coming together, I was like, wait. And then when I went back and watched the first episode, I was like, let me tell you my notes. So even the intro card for the show, I didn't even pay attention to the fact that it said Agnes of Westview. I didn't pay attention to her last name being different. I didn't pay attention to it being the neighbors' actual names. I didn't pay attention to any of that stuff. And then as we go along through some of the other stuff, like I said, once Teen got in there and I noticed something was different, I was like, oh, wait, she just dropped this hint. So Agatha knew this from very early on that Teen conjured this. I was like, oh, that kind of did change the whole way I looked at it. And I was sitting there, I was like, Anthony literally said that. Wait, he also said that. I was like, he know.
The only
Great
thing
job.
I know, yeah, thank you. The
Yes,
only
good
thing I
job.
got wrong, the only thing I got wrong was I thought he was pulling stuff from their heads, and that real was not real. The real was
Yeah,
real. That
Mhm.
that
Real's
was the
really
only
real.
thing. Yeah, real was real.
Real,
That was the
real.
only thing
really
It's
real.
really
I got
Really
real.
wrong.
real.
Right.
Yeah,
But she tells him in the very, very beginning, the road is not real.
right.
She says it with a straight face. She's not
Mhm.
playing. She's not hiding. She's like, the road is not real.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, you can tell she just she had no clue what the hell was going on.
No.
She had no idea.
Especially when the door appeared. She was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
She
And
reached
that
down
was
and got
one
she
of the
reached down and
few
got the sand and she was
times
like,
that I
how
felt like
the
she was Agatha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I wasn't looking at her as Catherine playing Agatha. I was like, okay, that's genuine. So there are certain
And
parts where I believe that she was who it was, but I still feel like a lot of the times when she was trying to be mean or snarky, that she was kind of overdoing it, and that was getting on my nerves. But I think I've talked that point to
yeah,
death.
and
So,
the other part was where she was like being mean to them when they were trying to open the door. She was trying to get them to attack her.
Right.
And at the time I was like, oh, she's trying to get them to use their power so she can steal them. Like it was that was something that, and then the door just threw her off.
mm-hmm.
She was like, wait,
Mhm.
what the fuck? Because they didn't attack her. So, but
Because she
Right.
told Lily her secret.
Mhm.
yeah,
And then it's like, I mean, it's like you can see her frustration. She's like, these motherfuckers are coming to kill me. Can y'all please fucking let me steal your powers so I can defend myself? Like,
yeah,
fuck. Like, hurry the fuck up and hit me. And then
Mhm.
it's like, I mean, just like the look. I love episode 9 when they were like going through her being like the most prolific Marvel serial killer of all time and like killing every which person. And it's like she and her like getting mad, then looking down, then picking up the sand, and it's like, huh? And then she actually did kind of break the fourth wall. She looked and gave you that smirk.
Uh-huh.
You're like, oh, so she's like, oh, she was playing that shit up like for the first couple trials. Then it's like after her trial and she killed Alice, she told Teen that he was just like his mother. She was like, okay. She's like, I know what you did. Let's go ahead and get this over with so I can get back so we can get back to the real world because I'm sick of being here. And it's like you could tell in the tarot one when he didn't know what the chariot was. He was like, "It's the chariot. It's written on the fucking card. Can we hurry up and do this?" Then she started playing slapjack and throwing tarot cards down and having it rain swords.
Mhm.
She was just like, I'm ready to fucking go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And it's like she was just so frustrated at that point. Then it really came out when she was back at the beginning. She was like, "How the fuck do I get out of here?" It's like, and he tried to explain. She was like, "If you don't know, shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here. Go back around." And I was like, oh, like, yeah. After everything, you're like, oh, yeah. She's like, I fucking had it. Where's my goddamn house? I need to get out of here now.
yeah.
And
See, I feel you on that a little bit, but like I was getting the impression because when you start thinking about it, she didn't take every trial seriously. It was all
right.
the way she was acting was as if nothing's going to happen to me
Mhm.
because she is not real
Yes.
Mhm.
and he needs
Yeah.
me. So she was really just playing along and really she really acted like she didn't really give a fuck. When she started throwing the tarot cards down and the swords coming in, she's like, oh, I'm not gonna die because he's not gonna kill me. So just kept throwing them down. Let's just be done with it.
Mhm.
So but the real
Yeah.
big tip off was when he was like, I wish Lila was here to help. And then
And
boom, she burst the door. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
But
he's
she
he's making this
even
happen.
I think she figured it out because I wrote it down episode 3 when they first get into the road and he's
Mhm.
looking around, he says, wow, this is exactly how I pictured it. And she was like, it suits you. And I was like, wait,
Yeah.
did she already suspect at that point?
Yeah, she
And
Yeah,
did.
she
then
did.
after the first trial, when Mrs. Hart died, she looked, she said, why, I didn't think you had it in you. And he was like,
Mhm.
who had what in them? And she winked at him. She didn't think that he would actually kill somebody. But of course,
Mhm.
again, he didn't know that this was something he was doing. And even the stuff that started coming up, like he's creating it on the fly because that's what he does. And I think because she had seen that before, she was like, okay. But even in the very first episode, when he tries to tell her who he is and the sigil comes up, if you really pay attention, you can hear him. It's like, I'm Billy Maximoff.
Yeah.
But the sigil comes across. And I think she was like, come again? And when he said his name again, she was like, okay.
Well, he said William Kaplan at first. Then he said, I'm Billy Maximoff, like second.
Yeah. But I was sitting there looking, I was like, I didn't pick up on any of this stuff before because again, I was so out of it. And it was only like, again, Teen, Lilia, and Jen. Those were my three favorite characters. And I mean, when I say Jen went off in episode 8, she was so good. Sashir was so good. And I was just like, yes, I'm I feel her anger. I feel what she's feeling. And then for the first part of that whole dialogue she had with Agatha, Agatha was still being kind of playful, like, say it like you mean it, Jen. And I was like, oh, you're getting on my nerves. But the more Jen kept saying it and her face started changing and you could feel her really feeling it, I was like, okay, I'm back in it now. Like I said, she does these weird, she makes these weird choices with her acting where it's like half the time you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And the other half is like, oh, I believe that you're in the character.
Yeah, it's like shout out to Jen for actually being a black character and surviving the whole thing and being able to get her powers back.
Definitely.
And taking her agency back from the
Taking
white
her back.
woman that bound her.
Yep.
Especially with how things are going right now in the real world, I was just like that scene brought me to tears. I actually cried a little bit watching her. It's like
Right.
getting yourself back and actually feeling yourself. Like I felt that. I was like,
Yeah.
that's pretty fucking awesome.
I mean, I will give it to Agatha though. Once she realized what the situation was, she did seem like she genuinely felt bad. She was like, I didn't know it was you. I used to cast spells for banknotes back in the 1920s. I didn't, when she mentioned Boston, she was like, oh, that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So when she says, I deny your power over me, and she says, you hold nothing, you hold nothing, you hold nothing, she's still kind of sitting there defiant. And the more that Jen looked at her and just kept saying it, you see her whole face change. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, okay, she feels what she has done in this moment. And I feel like in that moment, she really understood, because wasn't that the same thing Wanda did to you for 3 years? This woman has been bound for 100 years.
Fucking years.
So what you went through is nothing compared to what this woman went through. And I think Agatha really felt it in that moment. I was like, oh, okay, I can get with this. The way she helped Billy at the end do what he was supposed to do. So let me ask a question about this. Does this mean that when he said he could feel Billy, he knew Billy was around, but he couldn't find him, and then everything that Agatha did at the end, does that mean that he was holding on to Billy in his mind that whole time?
I think so.
You think so?
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was inside of his. He held him. I don't know. Is he either had him
like he was
in his conscious? He had his consciousness.
Yeah, that's what I'm
like
saying.
Their consciousness were
I think so.
You think so?
I believe so. I believe he was always there. She helped him
release him.
Release him and find the place for him.
So when he found a body, he just took him with him.
Yeah, he grabbed on to him.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because when she figured that out and that whole scene was happening, it didn't really hit me until he said, Agatha, am I killing some boy just so my brother can live? I was just like,
that's so.
How do you make that decision?
But he wasn't though. That boy was gonna drown anyway.
Right.
No,
So
he was dead.
just,
That boy was
yeah,
dead.
let's just make that clear.
And by
You
the
don't
way,
think so?
can we get those
Yeah.
little fucking hooligans locked up for pushing someone in the damn lake and drowning them and holding them under the damn
but do
water?
you
Can we
That
lock
part.
realize
them little
how
motherfuckers up?
often that actually
A
happens?
lot.
Yes. I'm surprised
Just
that I was
playing
watch.
around.
Tommy's gonna be at Lake Lanier. Watch.
You know what?
Talk about spirits getting their revenge. Come on.
Exactly. See, exactly. It fits right in. It's like his spirit goes to where spirits hang around, and then next thing you know, it's like he's out there running around interacting with all the spirits, except they ain't gonna want nothing to do it because he's white. But anyway, let's go on.
Yeah. But okay. The other part of this whole final trial that I think did finally get me was Agatha figuring out what she needed to do in order to get through the trial and get out of the room. Because even up till that point, we still don't know the truth about what happened to her son. Billy has asked her, Rio has said something to her about it, and you see her keep avoiding the topic. But whenever she was thinking about her son, that's another part where I felt pulled into the story, because I was like, okay, something didn't happen the way that everybody says it did. Because Rio asked her, why do you let them think these things about you? And I think at this point, Agatha is just kind of like, because it really doesn't matter. What did she say? Because the truth is worse. And what's the truth? That my son was taken by the person that I love. That's a horrible
I think it hurts more. The truth hurts her more. It's like she'd rather have people think that she's a bitch than just to have pity on her for losing her son when he's only 6. And she doesn't want to even think about him. She'd rather she'd rather just be like, whatever, I'm not even thinking about that.
And I think also too, the fact that she's this powerful witch and she couldn't do anything to save him. That's gotta eat at her too.
It does,
and her girlfriend took him.
Yeah, but I still don't like what happened afterwards. So I guess that's what my problem is. I'm not feeling the same energy y'all feeling right now because I'm a little bit upset.
Which part?
Just okay. I feel bad that you lost your son. I definitely do. But you taking and killing all the witches. See, I was hoping that didn't happen. I wanted a different story for her. Okay. So we just turned around and made her the bad.
But wasn't you the one that said, because I said I feel like there's more to Agatha's character than her being this evil. I think I said this when we discussed 1 through 5.
I thought so too, and I thought that she just had a bad reputation.
I think if we go back and listen, I think you said no. Agatha is evil. She doesn't need a redemption story. She doesn't need anything.
No, I just said she was different.
I think that was me.
Yeah, because I just said she doesn't need a redemption story because I thought she was just normal and that witches attack her. She can't help but take their power. You know what I'm saying? She got caught up, and every time it happens, people say it was her fault. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
And that's what I thought.
Okay.
But they turned her into a bad witch.
They didn't turn her into a bad witch. So
no, she's been that way. Did you hear her mom say? Her mom said that. Her mom said
I thought her mom just misunderstood her because she takes.
Mom understood perfectly well.
I think her mom probably saw into the future and saw with her,
which basically means
and so I saw her dog
anyway because you dated death. So I should have just started with that part right there. So she wasn't a nice.
Hold on.
Nice one beforehand.
Before we go into this train, so I want to first, because he listens to the show, I want to give a shout out to our secret podcast member Nick,
Nick,
because Nick and I went back and forth about this, and Nick was like, oh, she's really good, and maybe she's a person that wants people to think that she's evil, but she's
Nick.
really good, and she's the one that they would like kick a cat and be like, "Are you okay?" No, Nick.
No,
Nick.
Nick. Nick. I'm so disappointed,
Stab the
Nick.
cat and then bury the cat
Right.
because that's the kind of person she is. She
Yeah.
was a murderous witch before she had the baby, and she was a murderous witch after she had the baby. Because there are some people who are saying, "Oh, well, she was only killing the other witches because she was trying to get more time with Nicholas." Nah, she was doing it before she had him.
She's a serial killer. She's a witch serial killer.
She was
Might as well call her
because
Joan
even when
Wayne
he was
Gacy.
an infant and she was struggling, she started killing witches. That was
Well, she did that because she was trying to keep death away and give her bodies, like they mentioned on the road.
She was
okay.
She was already
so about that
girlfriend before she had the baby. And
I have questions.
Either way you slice it, she's a lady.
I agree with you. Okay, this time I just thought that we wasn't gonna go that direction, and we went that direction. So I was quite disappointed in the last two episodes, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
that's all.
I'm sorry, what?
We were going to. Yes, I am.
Because she didn't want the narrative that if I'm understanding you correctly, Michelle.
No, I just
didn't want the narrative of
what we've been saying all along.
Her being evil just to be evil.
Right. Like, I'd rather her give her son up for power at this point. If we're gonna go bad, let's go bad. Let's don't go in between. That's all.
What do you mean? She killed witches for centuries.
I understand.
How is that not bad? She probably killed witches before. She killed witches before, during, and after when her son was here.
That
she wanted her to have a reason.
Direction, okay.
She wanted her to have a reason to
sometimes people ain't got a reason.
Them to really understand her and realize that they typecast her as the bad witch and she really wasn't, and she was gonna let people believe that because her mom instilled that in her. See, I was going a little bit more deeper with this, but no, they kept it the way it was.
She's bad just because she's bad.
She's bad. Sometimes people are just bad. You can't explain it. There's no complicated theory for it. She's just
I was
bad.
trying to.
I get what you're saying, but
some of the dialogue pointed to that she really wasn't,
and that's what I was saying as well. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So don't give me that.
So yeah,
even Billy.
Wait, why are you yelling at me? We've been cool all three episodes.
Ain't nobody yelling. Ain't nobody yelling.
I'm on their side now.
Oh, even Billy
by myself.
Cast her as the evil witch. Even Billy cast her as the wicked witch.
Mm-hmm.
So even on some level, he knew.
Yeah, but then we didn't have to make it that bad. And I didn't need the montage of her killing them over centuries and centuries. I didn't need that.
She looked like she enjoyed it.
Yes, she did.
She enjoyed it.
She loved that shit.
Disasters that she was present in.
That we made Wanda crazy. We making her Agatha just a serial killer.
She was on the Titanic. She was at the Hindenburg disaster.
She was Jolene.
I just thought, that was because Death was following her. Like Death wouldn't leave her alone. So everywhere she went, Death came. And
okay, so here's the question that I have in regards to Death and their relationship and stuff, because you get the idea. And again, I wasn't feeling it in the first few episodes, but I kind of felt it a little bit more in the last few episodes. So you get the feeling that both of them loved each other very much. Like Death really loved Agatha. You could see it when Agatha was basically rejecting her. You could see how much it was hurting her. You could see how much it hurt her when she came for Nikki the first time. But in the first episode, when they were arguing with each other, and I guess it was because the Darkhold was hiding her from the other witches, so Death couldn't find her either. But Death was like, one, really pissed off about not being able to find her, but two, was also very hell-bent on killing her. Do we know if there was a specific reason that Death was after her, or was it just that, okay, well, since you were supposed to burn at the stake and you got away, now it's one of those things where I have to. It's like a balance thing.
Okay, if we pull a little bit of what death is, what she is in the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't really have the capacity to care for anyone.
Okay.
But what she does desire are people that will give her deaths. That's why she was not infatuated, but that's why she was attached to Thanos.
And Deadpool.
She corrupted him at a very well for Thanos. She got him when he was an infant to be into her and offering up lives to her, because you have to realize she's like she's like sort of like not even like the celestial, sort of just a part of the natural order of things.
Mm-hmm.
So being around, and I think they kind of made Agatha what Thanos was in the comic books, because that's kind of what his whole motivating factor was, appeasing her and trying to court her by offering her all these deaths or whatever.
And I think she did that,
and she was taking that role that Thanos had,
right? But instead, I think she was doing it at a certain point to keep her away from Nicholas. And
in her mind, that she may have believed that.
Yeah.
They're gonna merge things together, because for the non-comic book people, they gave Death some feelings. She has feelings. I think she really did care for Agatha, but the thing is, when a person has to go, the person has to go.
And you know what? You saying that
makes as much about Agatha as a bookie cares for his gambler.
But that's you going through the comic books. They giving her a little bit more depth here. Okay.
No, but if you follow everything Marvel does, they still take elements of the comic.
I'm just saying they gave her a little bit more depth, that she actually probably did care for someone. And that's why the only reason Agatha is to this point. So,
and you know what, Michelle, what you just said makes a lot of sense, because if she was using those deaths, if she was luring, she was doing it to steal the witch's power. Yes, she was doing it for selfish reasons. But if she was also doing that to placate Death, then that would make sense for why Death chose that particular time to come from Nikki. Because remember, they were in the village earlier and she was trying to do it, and Nikki didn't want to do it anymore. And it was that same night that she came for him. So it actually make a whole lot of sense.
So this is the thing that Death would be like, okay, well, that's what, if she thinks that I'm just gonna like not come get Nikki because she's killing all these witches, she can believe that, and not just let her kill him. And then when Nikki basically convinced her to stop doing it, then Death was like, well, I have no reason to keep him around. So she went and got him.
Well, because his time was up. If she's a natural order of things, his time has been up, to be completely honest. But I think she did care. See, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm adding the extra layer that Marvel tends to do. So you're still keeping it with the Marvel level, but they actually give you that bonus whipped cream at the top, is that she actually did care for Agatha enough to leave her son alone because she was getting those bodies. But if you're not giving me the bodies, it's his time. It's like it's been his time. Like, how old was this little boy?
6.
Also, it's been 6 years. I gave you time, and I told you from the beginning that I'm going to come. And I can't tell you how much time I'm going to give you, but you gave me bodies, and I care for you, but I had to take them. Just like now, I have to take you. You are past your expiration date. Like, I love you, but you are like completely past your expiration date.
Also, while she was under the spell, it's like she wasn't giving Death any bodies. It's like Death is like, I have a theory that Agatha and Death, well, other than a relationship, I think they actually had an arrangement where that's the whole reason that Agatha killed so many witches, was because her and Death had a deal where she kept giving her bodies, and they would, like, just out of love, or just, to keep her going. Like, I won't come for you personally if you keep giving me bodies.
But so I think after Nikki died, I seriously doubt Agatha.
No, I'm talking about after that. I'm talking about after that, when she kept killing people. Like, even Death was probably like, well, okay, I still took him, but but she was still giving her body, so she's like, "Well, I'll leave you alone for now." So, but
She
once she
couldn't find
stopped,
her. She couldn't find her because of the dark hole. She said something about that in the first episode.
right? But
But when did that occur though? When
When
did
did
she
what
get the
occur?
dark hole? When did she get the dark hole?
Probably sometime in the 1750s, because Nikki was born in 1750. Agatha had the dark hole for what, 200 years?
Yeah, I was just trying to figure it because she still was killing those people. I feel like before the
At
dark
that point,
hole,
she probably was just doing it just because she wanted to do it. She was angry,
yeah.
and at that point, she
Right.
has nothing, like there's nothing stopping her.
But Death wouldn't need to look for her, because if Death is finding a circle of bodies of witches,
She know her
I
girlfriend
think
she's doing.
you know what?
She didn't have to look for her.
I think that's kind of a plot hole because she was he died in 1750. Nicholas died in
1756.
1756, and so she's been killing witches since then. If she got the dark hold in like 200 something years ago, it just seems like I wish they would have put it. I wish they would have put it in. I wish they would have mentioned it, or like, but they didn't. They never showed how she got the dark hold, and she obviously didn't get it by trading her son. So it's like it's kind of a hanging thread where it's like this is like a hanging thread in your back. Like how?
Well, you know what? I would think maybe, okay, if we're going with this theory that Death actually does care for Agatha, like she actually loves her, maybe once she took Nikki, she felt like, okay, let me leave her alone for a bit, because she didn't want to do it. You could see that in her face the first time she saw her. And she was just basically like, I don't want to do this, but I have to do this because, again, it's the natural order of things. So once what was it that Agatha told her? She was like, if you do this, I will hate you forever. Okay, I'll give you a few years. And like we said, as long as she was plying bodies, Death was good. But that one time Nikki was like, I don't want to do this anymore. We can kill witches tomorrow. I think Agatha at that point realized if Nikki stopped her once, there was no way he was going to go back to doing that, because he had been questioning her about this ever since, that we saw. So this was something he didn't want to do. Now, she probably didn't tell him about what the arrangement was or whatever, but she knew when he told her, hey, we don't have to do this today. We can kill the witches tomorrow. She did say something to him about, I don't know how much time I have with you. I can do all this stuff with my magic. I can't cure what ails you. I can't give you more time. And I don't know when she'll come for you. I really think Agatha had an inkling that Death might come for him. If you look at the way she treated him that night, she was very touchy-feely with him. She was very motherly. She was very she was treating him like it would be the last time she saw him. Even the way that she
slept with him all up under him, like she had him wrapped up, and like she was trying to hold on to him so that he wouldn't go.
So I think she kind of figured the time was coming close. And then with the way that it happened, like, okay, you're Death. You ain't supposed to be scared of nobody. If you really wanted to hurt Agatha, if that was really your MO, you could have taken Nikki while Agatha was right there watching, while she was pleading with you, just to be done with it. She didn't have the guts to face Agatha, I don't think, because of what she feels for her. She was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take him beyond death's door, and then I'm just gonna leave her alone. Let her kill the witches, let her be angry, whatever. Let her do it. Because I think at this point, Death is like, okay, I owe her that much. I should give her that much. But you've been hitting for 200 years. Now I'm pissed because
the reason why it's hard for me to wrap my head around that concept is, in the comic books, Death only does things that would maximize the number of deaths that occur. So if you believe that you love her and she loves you, and that's going to cause you to create more deaths, then of course she's going to be like, oh yeah, I love you, I care for you so much. But she's actually indifferent to it as long as you continue to give her bodies.
But if you look at her,
But,
if you look at her
that's
facial expressions,
But
if you
that's
look at
comic
the way
book.
that she acts,
oh yeah, she's a
she
great actress.
she cares about
Oh yeah, she's
Agatha.
a great actress.
But you got to go. That
All
is
despite
comic
she's
book.
awesome. She's a great actress.
But you can still fall in love with one of your.
Y'all.
But no, she can still fall in love with one of her minions who's giving her death. She still can fall in love with one of them. We got to give her more depth. Okay.
Give
All
death
right.
more
It's
depth.
not clear cut. Okay. Yeah, it was.
Depth.
Like, give her some extra. Like, that's the one thing I do love about Marvel doing now is giving a little more depth into a person.
Seeing a person.
Killing more people?
An object. You know what I mean?
Okay, I do have a comic book related question that kind of sort of has to do with this show. It's going to go way off left field, but we heard mention of it in the first episode. Did I read correctly that Mephisto is actually Agatha's father?
No.
That I do not know.
Okay, I saw that somewhere, and I was like, okay.
I mean, I didn't look it up, but I don't know.
Okay. I was just wondering because it came across my news feed on, I forgot, one of the sites, and I was just like, I have not heard Anthony nor Michael mention this at all. And I feel like if that was the case, that's something, if not Anthony, that's something Mike definitely would have mentioned.
I would have yelled that shit. I would have been like, hell yeah. Mephisto, but Daddy confirmed. I would have been all over that. But yeah.
His two children are Blackheart and Grey Light.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Her father's never been identified. See, the thing about Agatha Harkness is she's really like not even a D-list character. In the comic books. She's never had a series dedicated to her. She's never even had a one shot as a character. Like, she's literally just a side character.
Okay.
She's like Mr. Miyagi for witches, basically. It's like she's not gonna be, she's someone you know, but she's not someone who's gonna be out there, because she basically just counsels witches and shows them how to be better witches. That's basically all she did in the comic books. She just got a bigger platform just because of how Catherine Hahn played her in WandaVision.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
so she went a totally opposite way. She was helping and guiding witches to just completely destroying and killing them.
Well, I guess that's what Anthony was saying, that they gave her what Thanos was doing in the comic book. So that would make sense if that's the case.
Well, I guess she would be like chaotic neutral. Like, she wasn't really good or bad. It was like, oh, Scarlet Witch, you are very, very powerful, but your shit is kind of wow. Let me kind of help you out here.
And see, that's what I wanted for her. I really wanted complete gray for her. I really did. I wanted the neutral. But we didn't go that direction.
She's straight chaos. She thrives on that shit. It's like that's why she went on the road. She was like, oh, this is gonna be chaotic as fuck. I'm in. Let's go. And it's like, and this is why she went along with Wanda in WandaVision. She's like, oh, I can act a fool and do all this other shit and then pretend to be all this other stuff and wear spandex and shit. Hell yeah, let's do this. Let's see where this goes. That's basically her mantra, is like, let's see where this goes.
That's why when I was arguing back and forth with Nick, I would accept that she would be chaotic neutral, because then everything she does is really for her benefit, whether it be good or evil. But no, she's chaotic evil.
Yeah. I mean, we can't even bounce back from that.
No.
Like, if it was like 2-3 rounds while you had Nicholas, you did it. I can understand. But when it was over, like, you went on a complete world tour.
Yeah. Well, all based on a song she made up.
Conversely, though, conversely though, if you think about it, I mean, she was to do what she's doing, like even if it was for her kid, she's still like she's using her kid to kill people. Like I mean, that's straight up evil anyway.
Oh, that's like a whole other therapy session. That's a
Yeah,
whole other
I
therapy
can
session.
understand if you're trying to keep your kid alive. I do.
Not using him to do it though.
But
That's
you trying to keep him alive. You just don't know. You just don't know.
she
However,
turned
now
him into
the
a thief.
seven, how
He's
the
still
seven is not bad. To me, they're not really bad. The seven. They really do need to come and kill her.
no, they need therapy. The seven need therapy, like
Why do they need therapy? Their
because
life was destroyed by
they
this woman.
had her parents got their parents got killed. It's like they could have gone to a therapist and been like and say, I want to kill her. Should I kill her? And the therapist been like, no. They were like,
when you
oh, okay.
find out that the person that killed your parents is a serial, in your own words, Mike, a witch serial killer.
Serial
Absolutely. She's
killer that
100% a
kept
serial
doing
killer.
it.
There ain't enough therapy in the world. That is a vengeance tour. That is revenge. That is, we need
I'm
to
just
make sure she doesn't do this to anybody else.
I'm
And
trying
she deserves
I'm
it.
just trying to find a different solution. I'm sorry. I'm just trying.
No,
I mean,
that's the
I'm trying.
solution right there. They should have
And
killed her.
then after all of this, after her helping Jen, her helping Billy, when she gets to the end and she realized she can't whoop Death's ass, then she's like, oh yeah, okay, take the boy. Excuse me.
She was going to redeem
after
herself.
he powered her up.
I really
After
thought she was going to redeem herself. I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to save this boy.
The
She
only
said,
reason she
there
did
you
it,
go.
the only reason why she did it was because when he got in her head and said, is this what happened to Nikki? She was like, I can't do this to another boy. I think that's the only thing. That's like that small piece of, I'm not even going to call it redemption. I'm going to call it regret. She was like, okay, you know what? I can't do this.
But beforehand, she just threw him out there. There you go, Death. I'm good.
Yeah, I was
think about it like this. This is the second time that Wiccan has mentioned Nicholas and she's had pause. The first time was when she was draining Alice. And he did that a little bit. If you had done that a little bit earlier, he probably could have saved
actually, Alice. This is the third time then, because he asked her after he recovered from his injury, he asked her, he said, what really happened to your son? And she got up and she made her snarky thing. You need to hurry up and recover because we need to keep going.
Well, yeah,
so that's the third time.
I was talking about like stuff where like powers were kind of involved, like where like certain like you know like where certain death was getting ready to happen, like where she was killing Alice or where death was getting ready to take him, and she ended up getting a kiss of death and turning into probably some of the best psychoactive mushrooms ever. If you ever got it by I was looking at it when they started sprouting. I was like, man, those shits will blow your mind.
She told her, she said, why don't you plant something while you at it?
Yeah, she's like, yeah, plant some azaleas while you're at it.
So she planted.
So Sparky can eat them again? She can get
Boner.
Get Ralph Boner to feed Sparky some more? Like, damn.
He's dead. Now I will say this. Wiccan's superhero costume reveal.
I
loved it. I loved it. The way that he just kind of came in there. I loved it because I was like, he is very much channeling his mother right now.
Yeah, just comic accurate too. It's comic accurate too,
with some vision in there too.
Yeah,
and his mother, because I like how, because in the comics, Wiccan only has a headband. It's just like a solid headband. It's not the crown that Wanda had on.
Okay.
Like the crown that he has on in the show. I actually like that change. I think that was a really good change.
It looks good.
It looks good on him.
So like naturally towards the end of the show, I'm like, okay, so when are we gonna see him again? Because
probably Vision Quest.
Oh yeah, but Vision Quest is not coming out till 2026, right?
Yeah, when's Young Avengers Day coming out till 2028
Oh,
or
well,
something?
okay.
They haven't even scheduled Young Avengers yet, so
Okay.
we can't
Okay.
even.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
we're teasing, we're fooling ourselves by thinking that's going to come soon. So let's just focus on stuff that actually is closer to coming, which is
Okay.
Vision Quest. I mean, shit, he might be. No, I don't think they're going to be in Secret Wars. That I can't really think of off the top of my head. I can't think of anything coming up that they could be in,
Okay.
but I think that I know that Vision Quest makes the most sense
Mm-hmm.
because I mean Vision is technically their daddy. They share wiring or whatever, and it's like you kind of have to. There's a connection there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there could be. I mean, I can't really think of anywhere else that they could really come in unless they try to shoehorn them in, which I hope they don't. I just want them to create something that where they actually fit conveniently into instead of being forced in. Like,
Right. Right.
I've had enough of that.
Okay. So I think the only thing that really bothered me about this episode, and it's like a small thing, but it's one of those things that I caught. If you're thinking, and Michelle will tell you, I have an issue with timelines. Like I have to figure out how things match up and stuff like that. So she makes the mention when she's trying to teach him how to find Billy. She was like, imagine you're in your bedroom, you're 10 years old. William Kaplan was 13 when the car accident happened. So there's a 3-year age difference. So that means that although William Kaplan is 16 right now, Billy is only 13 and he has a boyfriend, an older boyfriend. That's just it's a little icky to me.
You're thinking about the wrong thing.
Yeah,
No,
he aged himself up.
we have had this conversation with
Yes. Beast Girl.
Invincible and yes, so
Wonder
it's one
Woman
of those things that stuck
1985.
out to me. Like,
But he
ew.
aged himself up. I mean, like literally over a day, he went from a toddler to a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
So he can age himself up.
So that means that technically speaking, he's younger than that, which makes it worse.
You're regret.
It's like
you're
30 days old. I mean,
Monaco, you're snowballing.
I'm just
Hold on, wait a minute. Just slow your roll.
I'm just saying it's very weird.
So really, how old is he? Because how long has Agatha been under the spell?
She's been under the spell for 3 years.
3 years?
He literally went from birth to age 10 in a matter of a couple of weeks, I believe.
Okay, so he's really 3 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's why you can't think about it like that. He aged
exactly because that means Boyf is a sexual predator, and we can't have that. So it's like
he's mature enough. He aged up. He aged himself up.
Okay.
Because he had to get into that, to be in that mind frame, in that body. He aged up, and he's the only person who can do that.
Yeah, him and his brother are the only people who can do that and and adjust. Because
in the show, did they age themselves up or did she age them up?
No, they aged themselves.
Did they?
That's a sticky wicket because it could be.
Okay, you know what? Let's not go there. I'm sorry I brought it up because
she probably aged them up.
Yeah, because they looked at each other. They looked at each other and smiled, and then they aged up. It's like they aged themselves up twice. Like that, because
she was
Wanda was like, no. Wanda was like, don't do it.
Yeah,
and
Billy did.
You're right.
And they did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they can age themselves up.
So he can age himself up. So that's how that fixed that for you. He aged himself up.
Okay. I can go with that. But
some things writers just don't think about. They just kind of just go along with where they need to go.
Well, it's one of those conversations that we always have when it comes to like vampires, like Vampire Diaries.
Yeah,
150-year-old vampires going to high school. Twilight. Dracula. Exactly. I mean, you always think about this when you're talking about a 17-year-old
girl. Like, really?
That's one of those things that you kind of. It's weird because you're thinking about this like, okay, this is an immortal character, or if you're thinking about like Monster Girl and Rudy in Invincible, it's like, okay, but what are they supposed to do? Like they can't really date somebody in their age range because, like with Monster Girl, she's 25, but she looks 12. So it's always one of those things. And I think that's something that people need to talk about more, because everybody's like, oh, that's a 150-year-old vampire. They sitting there, trying to date a high school girl. That's being predatory. Who the fuck are they supposed to date? If that was the age they were when they died, I think, Anthony, I think you always say this, a lot of people, they get stuck in that trauma from around that time. So it's just one of those weird things.
Not vampires. They grow with time. You understand? They mature. It is sticky with them though.
Okay,
However,
but who they supposed to date?
Because they all dead. So that is true. They can't, like, I'm looking like I'm like a fresh 19-year-old. I'm not finna sit here and date an 80-year-old that's gonna die next week. Wow, that's not
some people work. Do now. But yeah, okay, we can get rid of, we can go move forward from this age.
I do think that they may have, I think they thought about it, but you just answered your question. Like, they showed us in WandaVision that Billy could age up when he wanted to.
Yeah.
So it is an explanation for it. If they never kind of showed that, then I would be with you with, okay, he's 10 in a 13-year-old body. Then when the 13-year-old turns into 16, he's 13 dating an 18-year-old. That's a little bit, that's like a going into high school, dating someone leaving high school.
Yeah. But yeah, because I was gonna say that'll turn into a whole different conversation.
However, Billy aged himself up, so he is currently 16.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll just go with that. Okay. Moving on from that. Agatha as a ghost.
Oh.
Do we really? Really?
But that's her main form in the comics, though.
Oh, is it?
She's gray haired and she's a ghost.
Okay.
Okay. Sure. Thank you, because I didn't like that either.
And it's not that I don't like it, because okay, she exists as a ghost, which I kind of feel like maybe that was what she was trying to do. She was like, okay, let me get one over on death, and then at the same time, let me still exist in a powerful form. I don't know how that's going to go, because I don't know how ghosts in this particular universe, in this particular world, just how useful they can be. I mean, we saw she had to get like really emotional and angry in order to even be able to pick up the brooch. But
it's like Ghost.
Huh? What'd you say?
That was like Ghost. Patrick Swayze.
Yes. Yeah, with the penny, like pushing it up the wall.
Yeah. But it's like, okay, so now you're gonna go try to help Tommy find his brother as a ghost. Yeah, I can already tell you're about to be more irritating as a ghost than you ever were alive.
Duh. Of course she is.
But
she can go anywhere she wants to go. She can talk. She's going to be talking to Wiccan, and Wiccan's going to be talking to her, and nobody's going to be able to see her. So Wiccan's going to look like he's talking to himself. So people are going to be like, "What the fuck?" It's the same old ghost friend trope where the ghost friend talks to the human, and the human tries to talk to them, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, this motherfucker's crazy. Who the fuck is he talking to?" So that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Unless Agatha shows herself and says boo all the time and scares people.
Which she probably does, but
it'd be annoying. Yes, it's going to be.
The conversation that they were having right there at the end, okay, so even though we see Wiccan has some of his mother's abilities, he was able to create the whole Witch's Road and everything that happened. And of course, the people who died within the Witch's Road, they actually died in real life. But I like the fact that even though they show the similarity between him and his mother, they also show the difference, because once he realized what happened, what he did, he was immediately remorseful. Like, I don't want to do this anymore because people died.
Yeah.
And she had to sit there and kind of convince him, like, well, you actually saved a life. You saved Jen. And let's be honest, I was going to kill them all in my basement the first day anyway. So.
Basically.
But okay, Jen, crawling out of the ground and flying away. So obviously that means we're probably going to see her again. What is her character like in the comics? Because I've heard a little bit of.
All right. So I'm surprised that I haven't heard about this more because Jennifer Kale in the comics is white and blonde, first of all.
Okay.
But I'm glad I haven't heard like, oh my God, they color switched, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. But she's also featured in The Midnight Suns, which they have announced that is in production. So
yeah.
And she has a link to Ghost Rider, she has a link to Blade, she has a link to Moon Knight, she has a link to everybody else that's been in that. So she can basically go anywhere from there.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm looking for I hope she gets that because I really love Sashir's performance. Like I thought she did an excellent job in this show.
She was one of the best parts of this show.
Yeah.
She really was.
I really want to see if they figure out a way to get Lilia back somehow because they didn't show her dead. They just showed her going back to start training again.
Yeah.
So
they could.
I wouldn't mind seeing her in, but I'm pretty sure that she's gonna come up again somewhere along the line.
Okay. But yeah, overall, I will say aside from my earlier reservations and the way I feel, I kind of do like the way the show wrapped up, and I particularly liked the last 4 episodes way better than I did the first 5. But like I said, there were things that I just missed with the first 5 that once I went back and looked, I was like, oh, okay, so I missed that. That makes sense for this, that, and the other. So I think what I'm just going to have to do for myself is, even though it might be hard with certain things, I have to go back to my rule of watching things at least twice before we record. Because other than that, I missed a whole bunch of stuff because I didn't go back and rewatch the episodes. So yeah,
that's real quick. As something I forgot, since you were talking about Jennifer Kale, she is actually related to Johnny Blaze.
How?
Yeah, like they're cousins. Or wait, hold on. She is the cousin of Johnny Blaze.
Okay.
So it makes it easier for them to bring that Ghost Rider in. If they want to redo it. Just so it'd be kind of hard to explain her being Nicolas Cage's cousin, but it could happen.
Maybe they would just she could still be his cousin and he'd be white.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
I'm not even worried about that part. I was just more thinking like, how are they related? Because if you think about it.
Okay. Here I got it right here. It says Jen learns that she was doing something with Danny Ketch and Johnny Blaze's Ghost Rider. Like both of them were Ghost Riders. So she's doing something with both of them. So she finds out that she's Johnny Blaze's cousin. She's a cousin of them, descended from Noble Kale. He's the Ghost Rider of the 17th century. So So there's a relation to that. So
okay.
But that leads them into finding a Ghost Rider. That leads them into doing Midnight Suns. That leads, So that's basically her foray into it.
Okay.
Into,
and I think they've actually been talking about, like, I know that there's been rumors for the last couple of years about them looking for a Ghost Rider or them doing a Ghost Rider project. So, but it's kind of, I think at this point with Marvel, I think until I actually see something like trailer wise, concept art, something like that, I'm really at a point where I'm just like, I'm not gonna put any thought into what they could be doing years in years, because like they have so many things that they've scrapped now that were supposed to happen, like Eternals is scrapped.
Right.
Blade, even though at D23 Brazil they were like, we're still committed, we still like what Mahershala was going to do with the character, we just we got to work on it.
Oh, that
Okay,
was a
but
lie.
it's been how many years now?
That was a lie.
We
That
haven't
was a
heard
lie.
anything about Shang-Chi 2. um Moon Knight 2 is probably not going to happen. There's just so many things out there. I've seen some things now about the mutant saga that's supposed to come out, and how they're going to be incorporating the X-Men into the MCU, and I'm like, but y'all still got this shit over here that y'all haven't done yet. So I'm at a point where it's until I see some stuff like the trailer they released a couple of weeks ago, where we saw clips of What If, we saw clips of Ironheart, we saw clips of I forgot
Daredevil.
what else. Yeah, so I
can I comment?
Yes.
Two things. One, just because the crap is filmed still doesn't mean it's going to come out, because we've seen HBO have stuff wrapped up, done, ready to go.
We ain't even gonna talk about HBO.
They just got rid of it. So that's one. And two, I think I'm not gonna go off on the studio rant, but I think the biggest issue that Marvel has created this monster where, in its effort or in their attempt to try to do all these things, like they have all these things they want to do, all these things they want to accomplish, things are falling away. Yeah. Like, instead of focusing on one thing or two things at a time, they've divided up so many different things that things are running into each other. People are waiting around for scripts to be done, and they're like, I'm going to go do this other thing while y'all get this shit together. Directors have these ideas about what they want to do. Like, no, we can't do that because we want it to relate to this other thing that we're doing or we plan to do. Like, well, I can't do the movie I want to do because you want me to do something that's going to set up something later. And then you have the TV shows where you can't use these characters because we're going to do the, and it's just creating this big mess where things just falling off, because things get pushed, actors go do other things, and the stuff that you are doing isn't quality, it isn't great, because there's no, like, the clear vision is gone, like, it's gone. And I don't know, Marvel and some other franchise I won't name on this podcast, they've just lost it. The magic is gone.
It is.
And I think we're starting to get to the point where everything we're getting is aggressively mediocre. It's just, they're just trying really, really hard to give us mediocre stuff.
I agree.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry. I agree on some things, but I have my rose-colored glasses on, where I just expect everything to be good, and I downgrade it from there. So, but there have been some things that could have been way better. I mean, I think this could have been way better. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of in that happy middle where I'm like, okay, I don't go in with high expectations anymore, because there have been some things that are just kind of like, I think the thing that I'm most excited for right now, just in the last week.
Don't say it.
What?
Go ahead.
What?
Were you about to say Captain America?
No, actually, I mean, I am, just because I like Sam Wilson.
I am looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it, but I'm cautiously optimistic, because that is one of those other productions that have had issues with it. They've had the story change. I think the first time they had a movie and they screen tested it, it got horrible comments and reviews, so they had to go back and redo some things. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but because I am a Sam Wilson fan, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to Thunderbolts because that looks like it's going to be a fun movie, if nothing else. And they just released today the season 3 final, the trailer for the final season of What If. Anthony, don't you
even do it, Anthony.
Don't you do that, because Anthony was like, "No, it's okay." Not. I'm so sorry.
No, sir.
That trailer was so good. And then at the end to get Storm holding Mjolnir, I was in my office at work, and when I saw that, I went, and I was like, "Oh wait, I am at work. Let me bring it down a notch." But those two projects,
wow, I didn't even see the trailer. You didn't even. I'm like, I feel.
I was going to tell you, but she posted in. I thought you may have seen it.
No, how could you do this?
Oh, you didn't see it? Bad husband, bad husband.
Oh my gosh, yes, he is. I'm horrible. Devastated.
Okay, so when you get off of here,
you didn't miss anything.
Clearly,
see, no, don't listen to him.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
Trailer too?
Oh, is there?
Is there?
I don't know.
Is there what trailer?
Daredevil.
I don't think there's a full trailer for it.
There's a teaser, isn't it?
I think there's a teaser.
I didn't know.
I think they just flipped what they had for.
I can't even trust you now.
Uh-oh. Anthony, you in the doghouse. You can
trust me that you didn't miss anything with the What If trailer.
You know what? Whatever.
No. Don't stop that.
Don't even. Anyway, y'all got anything else to say about Agatha all along, just in general, or about the last 2 episodes? Because we are not about to listen to Anthony's blasphemy right now.
I'm sorry. I was like totally all for it. I really was, but it went kind of downhill at the end.
It's funny. We reversed.
I stayed the course.
But y'all know the reason why. Y'all know the reason why. So that's just how I feel. It was just blah at the end.
Okay. Real quick, shout out to Aubrey Plaza for having the best witch cackle ever.
That she does.
When they were going down on the brooms, like that cackle and the cackle in episode 8 when she was on the roof.
Her was looking like the fuck.
Like that shit was crazy. Shout out to them revealing that teen was Wiccan made the road by doing it kind of Usual Suspect style, like just going through and seeing stuff and having it relate to what he was seeing and stuff like that. Like that was crazy. I mean, if we wouldn't have had certain clues about it, it probably would have hit a little bit better, but it still hit pretty good for me.
I think Anthony even called that the fact that the Witch's Road, had stuff from off his walls, and I think Michelle said something about the posters being referenced. So
right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to approach it. Like, did Agatha? I keep wondering. Did she conjure Nicholas?
When?
Because she said she made him from scratch.
Oh, that's okay. So yes, that is a question I had as well, because I was like, so what? Immaculate Conception? Is that what she did? But if you go by what she said, and I think
it would. I mean, it's been proven that witches can get themselves pregnant from not having sexual intercourse.
Yeah,
it was proven in WandaVision. Wanda had twins without having sex.
Well, she probably was having sex with Vision, because remember, Vision was turning himself into
now we're getting into the Steely Dan conversation. I'm not trying to hear all that. No, that's not where I was going with this.
You brought it up. You brought it up.
I wasn't trying to go there. I was just saying because I think the way that she said that she made him from scratch, and I was just like, that kind of made me kind of like think, just like, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that she found a way to get herself pregnant
I mean,
or
she
to
even
create a
said
child.
she didn't say a spell. So that would be interesting if that's what she did.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, maybe that's why Rio was trying. That's why Death was trying to get him. Was trying to get him because you see how she reacted while she was trying to get Billy because wasn't created naturally. Like he
And
was
he was
created
throwing off the natural
supernaturally. And
balance.
he was an abnormality. So she was like, he's got to go. So
Yep.
maybe that this is the same thing. So
Yep. It makes sense. Yep. It does. It makes
yeah.
sense.
So I mean, it could be. I mean, because I mean, you can't date somebody whose ex's death. It's like, how do you compete with that? It's like, if in and then it's like all of a sudden one night you come up and her it's like, who are you talking to? My ex. Okay, talk to her all you want to. Don't worry about me. It's like, how you gonna get death mad at you? It's like that's messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed this whole series. I enjoyed all pretty much every episode. I found things to love about all of them. Some of the episodes, a couple of the episodes kind of dragged for me, but I really enjoyed this. It's I enjoyed it like I enjoy the Ant-Man movies. They're not like top third or anything. They're like mid-tier. This is a mid-tier show for me,
Okay.
but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed a lot of it. There's some moments the singing the singing parts are top tier for me. I think they did an excellent job of those. I think that a lot of the last the things that they did well, the reveals, the the music in this series was top notch. I love almost everything musically that they did. The you should see me in a crown beat drop is still it still resonates with me. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm still like that shit was genius. Like perfect.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of the stuff that it did. It's right there. It's right there mid tier for me. So I really enjoyed it. It's something that I do find myself going back just to catch stuff like you, but I really enjoyed it.
So, what would its watchability rating be for you?
I'd have to think
About
about that.
Yes,
about
for
a
everyone in this group.
for me out of 10, it's about a about a 6.5 or 7. No. I take it back. It's a solid 7 because there's certain episodes I would definitely watch again. There's certain episodes I wouldn't, like the the one where they went into Alice's parents' house and she broke the curse. I actually really like that episode. The episode where episode 8 I could watch over and over again. I think that every
Mm-hmm.
episodes 8 and 9 I could rewatch a lot. Episode 1 I could kind of give or take. Like and episode 2 I could rewatch too. So it's about a good 7.5 for me.
Okay. Hanako, Anthony.
I have to think about it because again, I'm still even though I have a little bit more knowledge about what the earlier episodes were and what it was supposed to do, those are still not my favorite. I think my favorite episode out of the entire show was probably episode 6, which was Team Story, when we
Mm-hmm.
find out what's going on with him and his reveal. I'd have to think about it. Like,
Well,
I think
gut feeling that you will sit back and turn this back on and rewatch from episode 1 to the end.
probably probably a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, probably a 3.
Okay, so before I answer this question, I have not watched any of the Marvel series again.
Mm-hmm.
I've only watched them once.
Mm-hmm.
So the likelihood of me watching this again is low, like a 0. Like even my favorite Marvel shows, I have not watched again.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to say I'm not going to watch again. I haven't, and I have no desire to watch it. Like I was thinking the other day, oh, I want to go back and watch Falcon and Winter Soldier at some point. It hasn't happened yet.
That's just
but
time.
but as far as wanting to watch again, I would not want to watch it again.
Yeah.
And as far as how I feel about the series, I'm gonna put it with Echo and say that I'm undecided really because I saw a lot of potential. Expectations were not really high, but I was kind of curious about it to see how it goes. Watched it. It's like it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. Um the best thing that come out of the show was Jen. Like that is the best thing to come out of the show. And I would love to see her in other stuff. I would love to see her be a part of other things in the MCU. I don't think it's going to happen because I think the MCU is too much of a mess right now for them to make anything coherent or coherent use of her character. If Midnight Suns ever comes to fruition, that would be nice. But sure, shoehorn her in somehow, make it work. But the series was okay. Like it's a bounce back from Secret Invasion. I'll give it that. But
that's not really saying anything though.
It's not.
Yeah. We'll see.
I'll go along with your about Echo. I can give you that. That is.
But I think it's unfair to Echo. I really do. I think like Echo should never be rated because it's really an unfinished show that was rushed.
That's why I have to put
so like that show literally because I feel like that wasn't good at all. Like, but I feel it's unfair to even say anything about the show because they didn't give it the just that it needed to get. So it's like that's off to the side. But everything else, and I'm starting to think of now shows of will I watch again? And you're absolutely right. I don't watch any of the series again. There are series that I would watch again, though. It's just if I had time or if I need something in the background, I will watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I will also watch Moon Knight. But then those are the only two. And yes, I fought with you guys about Agatha. But overall, like I wouldn't watch the episodes again, but 7. And I will only watch 7 if it pertains to him being in another movie. I'm like, oh, let me get my background again and let me watch 7.
See, I kind of put it where I would watch the.
It's better than Secret Invasions, though.
Way better. I would watch. There are two YouTube channels I watch. One is Reactionary TV. The other is J2O. Shout out to both of them. They do reactions where other creators react to like shows, movies, and stuff like that. And it's like I watch those all the time. And it's like I'll go back and I'll watch like their reactions to Falcon and Winter Soldier because it's cool seeing other nerds react to things, like especially things that you've watched before. So like I've gone back and watched like the reactions to Agatha a lot. It's like if it's something that I like, I'll go back and watch reactions to it all the time because the reactions, as opposed to the whole show, they actually cut down to the better parts of the show, like the action sequences or the really funny parts or the like shocking parts. It's like they go straight to those and they show creators' reactions to them. So as far as that goes, I'm still watching reactions to Agatha because I'll watch like episode 4 when they were in Alice's mom's house and they were doing that like because I'll go straight to the part where they're singing her version of The Witch's Road, which I love that song. I love that version. So I mean that's how usually I rate things. Like if I go watch a reaction and just like catch certain parts that I really liked. And there are tons of parts in there that I would catch like that.
So one of the issues I have with this show is it seemed like it was a lot of window dressing. Like there was a lot of surface level things that were really pretty, The sets were great, the costumes were great, the sound was great, the music was great, the effects were okay. It was just a lot of that, a lot of fluff, a lot of pageantry, and not a lot of substance to me. Like, it became a scavenger hunt. Can we figure these things out and put the pieces together? It just, that's what it felt like. It felt very airy. And I don't want to say incomplete, because I don't think it felt incomplete. Like, Echo fell short in a lot of ways. And you're right. They did Echo dirty. They really did.
Yeah, that was incomplete.
And that's why I put Agatha in the same category with Echo. Is like, it's very hard to kind of judge it now because the stuff is there. Like, it's right there.
What?
I feel like it's something missing. Especially those first 4 episodes seem like a skeleton, and I feel like I needed more from the show.
No.
Other than a lot of the window dressing and prettiness.
We can't go back.
So, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to say about it.
Okay, because even though I complained about the last episodes, doesn't take the fact that it was actually even Hanako going back. Hanako going back and start to realize just like the ties that it has from the beginning. I think it is a complete story. I personally didn't care how they made Agatha.
I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say it was a complete story because I do.
Complete. Oh, I'm sorry if I misheard you. I didn't mean to say not complete, but that it was missing something. You said it was missing something.
Yeah,
that's what I meant. I don't feel like it was missing anything. I just didn't like how they did the Agatha character.
I didn't say you said it wasn't missing anything. I was saying
let's not argue. Let's not do this again.
I feel like it wasn't missing anything. That's what I'm saying.
We got that. Yeah, I was telling you how I felt.
Yeah. I
wasn't missing anything.
Yes, it was.
It was.
I agree with Anthony. I do still think that there was some things missing. I think overall for me, it didn't. Agatha was the main character, but I feel like it really wasn't her show. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of it was building up who Teen was. Like, aside from Agatha's backstory, which we don't really get until the very last episode, it's more about identifying who Teen is, how he got to where he is, and him discovering the extent of his powers in creating the Witch's Road. I feel like it was more a show that was supposed to transition his character into something else and not necessarily Agatha's character. I mean, the last episode, we do kind of see more of that cohesion that I feel like is missing in the earlier episodes, because you get her resolution with death, you get her dying, her making the sacrifice, her becoming a ghost, and now she's about to embark on helping Billy find his brother. Again, this is more Teen story than it was Agatha's story. And I don't have a problem with it, because like I said, I was actually more interested in Teen's character from the beginning than I was in Agatha. Like, I wanted to know, is this Billy Maximoff? And if so, how did he get in this body, and where is his brother? Those were questions that I had after WandaVision, after Multiverse of Madness, the whole story arc with Wanda basically losing her mind, trying to get her children back. That is something that I think resonated with all of us with WandaVision, with Multiverse of Madness. And then this whole thing about, is she dead? Is she not dead? Which apparently Kevin Feige has hinted that Scarlet Witch may not be done in the MCU. So all of that to say, I feel like it was more his story. I didn't have a problem with that. Agatha didn't really get interesting to me until towards the end. And even with that, it's still kind of like hit or miss with me. I'm not going to say it was as bad as Secret Invasion, but it's also not one of my top shows. like Anthony, I may go back and just finish rewatching episodes 4 and 5 just to revisit those episodes, but then I probably will never need to watch this show again.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I mean,
I think
at this point it's probably time for us to have another one of our shows where we talk about all of the Marvel products that's been released in this phase and kind of rank them, because I think it's been like maybe 2 or 3 years since we've done that. So I think it's probably time for us to do that. But yeah, it's just
starting from when?
Probably phase 5. Yeah.
Oh God.
But I mean, that's something like I said, that's something I literally just thought about now, especially because, in trying to figure out where we want to place Agatha, like Anthony has brought up Echo, and I know we still haven't gotten around to talking about She-Hulk and Miss Marvel, and I know at some point Mike still wants to do that. We may still need to do that. I would say Miss Marvel is one of those shows I wouldn't mind going back rewatching. She-Hulk,
watch that.
It's kind of maybe, I don't know.
I still watch She-Hulk. Anthony, shut up.
So yeah,
I can't watch She-Hulk.
But yeah, Agatha is probably one of those. I would say it's probably mid to low tier for me. I'm not gonna say it's all the way at the bottom with Secret Invasion for me, but
I mean, we all know what our bottom is.
Compared to everything else we've seen, it's probably somewhere close to that.
Yeah. So, but we can basically when we do this, we can basically skip the first entry and just go to whatever is next to last, because we all know what we're going to have at the bottom. So
yeah, but I mean,
you never know.
No, I think we're all in agreement on that one.
I don't know about that.
I think we're all in agreement.
Secret Invasion was awesome. Now,
you know what?
See, you gonna get electrocuted. You calm down.
And on that false note, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos in our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Also, this weekend, if you are in Atlanta and looking for something nerdy to do, we will be appearing at Conjuration at the Sonesta Duluth, at the Sonesta Gwinnett Place in Duluth. We will be presenting on panels. We will have a live podcast episode where we are discussing parenting in the Potterverse. And we're talking about all kinds of other nerdy things. You can check our website for more details. But if you're there, come say hello and let us know what you think of the show. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.